Hi everyone. I've been watching some of FF1's YouTube videos, and they've triggered my mind into um, talking about something which is contributing to the problem of exposing Abu Dhabi. So this video that FF1 did um, examines other YouTubers. So there's a YouTuber, Cameron F1, and he has an interview with Peter Windsor. Get yourself across and have a look at what FF1 says about it. Okay, it's important what he's saying, and I agree with what he's saying in that this is what we need in terms of a more of a collective effort and more people calling it out, and more people that are close to the sport, us kind of interviewing them and getting them to reveal a bit more about it. Um, as you can see, I'm subscribed to his channel and I've hit the bell notification so that I get notified whenever he posts something new. So have a listen to what he's got to say, and obviously do the same if you're appreciating what he's saying. But here's my take on it. If we go to Cameron F1, so Cameron F1 is a Formula One YouTuber, and he has got 12.3 thousand subscribers. And this particular video, which I'm going to play you through, where he is in conversation with Peter Windsor, this video has had, where are we? 17,000 views. 17,000 views, and it's had 513 likes. Now, if we all look at Pete Windsor is another F1 YouTuber. He's got 161,000 subscribers. And he is, as he says here, an award-winning F1 journalist, a broadcaster, and manager. Okay, so this guy is somebody who will be viewed as having a lot of expertise. His words will hold a lot of gravity, right? People will believe what this guy has to say and feel that he's a knowledgeable guy, and you know will basically receive an education from this guy. Okay, which is kind of understandable, but you'll see now why I have a problem with this. And the fact is, he's not doing enough. He's not the only one, right? Because there's actually much bigger F1 YouTube channels that are doing nothing. Okay, they're doing nothing. Um, they're just they're just actually taking advantage of the situation just to coin money in. All right, they're not doing anything to expose what is truly going on. But watch this one through. So if I go to Cameron F1's video, go to Cameron F1's channel, okay, and have a look yourself. But this is that video, 3 minutes long. It's not very long, but I'm gonna stop it at the points where things aren't good enough. So here we go.
I think, as you say, with Abu Dhabi fresh in everybody's minds, it's not surprising that a lot of people are angry and annoyed after Monza, because what we saw at Monza was what didn't happen at Abu Dhabi. At Abu Dhabi, they thought, right, forget the rules, forget about anything else. Let's just make sure this race finishes as a race, and we'll forget all that business of the cars unlapping themselves, and we'll just go for it. It doesn't really matter that Lewis is on the wrong tires. Let's just have a race. And on the basis of that, you'd think, well, at Monza, if they did that at Abu Dhabi, at Monza, they could quite easily have restarted the race while they were still pushing Daniel's car back into that space. I mean, the problem was obviously they couldn't get it out of gear. So,
Right, I'm going to just replay that because there's a lot that you said, and it needs to be broken down.
I think, as you say, with Abu Dhabi fresh in everybody's minds, it's not surprising that a lot of people are angry and annoyed after Monza, because what we saw at Monza was what didn't happen at Abu Dhabi. At Abu Dhabi, they thought, right, forget the rules.
So Monza, we saw what should happen in accordance with the rules. and Abu Dhabi was clearly where the rules are broken. Why aren't we articulating it in that manner with clarity? We're almost we everybody talks about it in a manner where it's tentatively suggesting it's a little bit wrong. Why did they do that? When really nobody is actually saying it with any vigor. That was absolutely wrong. Okay, you as a sport did something that was absolutely wrong. You know it was wrong, and then you did nothing about it. You just maintained that outcome, and they're not calling it out with the actual clarity that needs to. Why is that? And I'll tell you the reason. Nobody wants to offend the Max fans, because some of the Max fans might be subscribers to these guys' channels. So rather than offend anybody and lose subscribers, which loses them money, they won't call it out properly. They'll just go, "Oh well, yeah. Why didn't they do that? What just wasn't quite right, was it?"
Rules. Forget about anything else. Let's just make sure this race finishes as a race, and we'll forget all that business of the cars unlapping themselves, and we'll just go for it. It doesn't really matter.
Okay. So you've given a bit of an overview of what took place. Have you educated people as to why that was a problem? And the answer is no. You are Peter Windsor. You are a Formula One journalist. You have got a history in the sport. You have got 161,000 subscribers to your channel, people who will listen to you as an authentic source, in the same way that they listen to Martin Brundle and view Martin Brundle as being the expert of Formula One. So whatever Martin Brundle says, people believe. Peter Windsor, you are of a similar level of being an authentic source to Formula One of information. And what are you saying to educate people as to exactly why it was wrong? And the answer is nothing, because you're not explaining to people the implications of what they did and why it was so wrong. Okay, you can't just go, "Oh, we need to just finish this race at all costs as a race. It doesn't matter that Lewis Hamilton's on the wrong tyres. We just need to finish it as a race." You need to call it out and say, "Well, you cannot do that, because every competitor in that race matters. Every competitor has to have the same sporting chance, and therefore, unless you carry out the mandatory procedures, you don't achieve that. So therefore, you're not actually restarting that race legally." Then 5 cars that were released were left 2/3 of the lap behind the pack. Lando Norris was left 2/3 of a lap behind Pierre Gasly, having previously been closer to Gasly than Verstappen was to Hamilton prior to the safety incident. Why are you not educating the fans of the sport with information like that? That way, there'd be less widespread ignorance. These strap-on fans that keep jumping up in the comments section, arguing, telling us how right they are when they're clueless, maybe when they hear it from the likes of you and Brundle, they'll start understanding just how wrong it was. But no, what you do, you don't want to offend them. You don't want to tell them that they're wrong. And instead, you just tentatively go, "Oh, yeah, well, they just wanted to end it as a race, even though Hamilton was on the wrong tyres." Call out the implications. Demonstrate exactly why it was wrong. Demonstrate what the rules evidence. And then, and only then, will education enable people to see what is going on. And nobody is doing it. And what they're doing instead is cashing in. They are cashing in. They've got their list of subscribers. They don't want to lose any by offending people. And they just therefore go, "Oh, was it this? Oh, was it that? Oh, it was a little bit this. Oh, it was a little bit that." And nobody is going categorically, "This was wrong." I'm going to play this on.
Matter that Lewis is on the wrong tires. Let's just have a race. And on the basis of that, you'd think, well, at Monza, if they did that at Abu Dhabi, at Monza, they could quite easily have restarted the race while they were still pushing Daniel's car back into that space. I mean, the problem
Look at, you've made that suggestion. You're now going to go on and say something else, but you've made that suggestion, and I'm going to tell you exactly why that's not possible in a second.
was obviously they couldn't get it out of gear. So on that basis, you'd say, yeah, people are entitled to feel robbed. But of course, what happened after Abu Dhabi is that all the do-gooders of the world and the powers that be said, well, this is horrendous.
Right. Let's talk about the implications of a safety incident. The race director's job is not to facilitate drama. Okay? The race director's job is to ensure that that event is carried out in accordance with the rules of the sport, in accordance with the sporting code, and most importantly, safely. The race director is effectively the health and safety officer of that event. He has got a legal obligation to both the competitors and to everybody surrounding that event. It is, if somebody dies and it is found that the race director has been negligent, the race director can end up in prison. That is factual. If people don't understand that, if you don't know, don't get in the comment section and start ridiculing and giving us your opinion. I don't care your opinion when you know nothing, okay? So strap on, fans, you can jog on. I'm not interested in the opinions of morons who know nothing. If you are in a position where you are responsible for the health and safety of people, and an incident occurs where somebody either is seriously injured or dies, and you are found negligent because you've not carried out your duties correctly and you've not carried out the management of that incident in accordance with the procedures which you are mandated to actually perform, you are negligent and you are liable for criminal proceedings against you as an individual. That's the fact of it. So any suggestion that you can unlap cars and it's all fine, absolutely not. The procedure is, an incident occurs. You try and make the situation as safe as possible by slowing the cars down. Either you deploy, firstly, yellow flags to slow everybody down. You might use virtual safety car to keep them slow if you think you can clear the incident up that way. You might bring out the full safety car, which slows everybody down, collects everybody together, and enables a window of opportunity for people to be out on track until they come back round again. And it gives, say, a window of a minute and a half where they can be on track clearing things up, and they just move out of the way slightly as that train passes and then back on with a clear up operation. That's why they use it. At the point that the track is declared clear and safe again, so there's no people on track, the barriers have been checked so that they're safe, and there's no further debris, it's all the checks have carried out, then and only then can the race director do the unlapping procedure. Make that clear. Why are you not doing that? Why are you not educating the fans of the sport with what they need to know? Rather than leave it up in the air and have them speculating, saying, oh, well, what they could have released the lap car. I'm hearing it from Abu Dhabi. Oh, they could have released the lap cars on lap 54. Yeah, they could have done. No, they couldn't. You don't know what you're talking about, so shut up. But it's down to the likes of you, Windsor. Well, Cameron and F1, you probably just don't know. Okay, I've listened to some of your stuff. You give opinions without knowledge. Okay, Windsor, you're an F1 journalist with all these years of experience. You should know. But you're not telling people as it should be. And that's not good enough. So there's people on here that are saying to me, oh, try Peter Windsor, see if he'll help call out what's going wrong. So I have. I've put messages onto his videos because how else do you contact people in this world? Because nobody responds to anything. But these people, they've got a responsibility. They're getting an income out of this sport, and yet they're not taking responsibility for educating people. And that's not good enough. That really isn't good enough. Just stop just coining your money in and taking your money, right, and not doing what's right, because it ain't good enough.
Massive mistakes were made. This must never happen again. And from now on, we must follow the rule book to the letter. And that's what they did at Monza. So, this was the time to complain about. This was not after Monza, it was after Abu Dhabi. And not enough complaints were made after Abu Dhabi. They should have, I think, given the World Championship to Lewis. And I think
They should have, I think, right, no, say it categorically. It's not I think, it's my opinion. No. The rules of the sport are this. This is why the rules are what they are. And for them not to adhere to them rules has changed what would have been the definite outcome. That is wrong. How hard is it to say that? Why is everybody scared of making statements of fact? Why is everybody scared of saying, oh, if I say it like that, then the strap-on fans that like the outcome that they got and won't like me saying this, oh, they won't like it, so they might not look at my channel anymore. When people are wrong, they need to be told they're wrong. When they don't understand they're wrong, they need to be educated to have it explained to them the things that they don't know. But the thing is with sport, these commentators, these people that like to present about the sport, have got a responsibility to educate. The likes of Sky Sports F1 have got a responsibility to inform the fans of the sport with the facts. They have failed. They've failed on purpose because they are presenting an agenda that they are paid to present. So what they are guilty of is corruption, 100%. But then we've got the likes of YouTubers that are actually just feeding off of it. They've set up their YouTube channels, and the way things work on YouTube is once you get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, you can then make your channel monetize, so you might get some income. Now, I don't know what that is. I'm not at that stage yet. But trust me, if that happens to my channel, the money that's generated is going to go into fighting for justice. I guarantee you that, right? The situation is these guys, they've built their channels up. They like talking about Formula One. They like talking about the bullshit elements of it, giving opinions on stuff that they don't really know. But, let's have an opinion and let's get people to watch me talking about an opinion. And they're not educating with facts, and they're not calling out sufficiently well the shit that needs calling out. That's not good enough. Where's your integrity? You're happy to take your money. You're happy to keep coining it in from YouTube, but you're not explaining facts to people. People that listen to you and believe in you. Take responsibility. Do better.
they should have said that last lap was completely illegal, should not have been allowed, and we're going to give the results as they were behind the scenes.
Yes, they should. Why was it completely illegal? Okay, why was it completely illegal? Do a video explaining to everybody why it was completely illegal. That's what I'm doing. But I only get 600 people seeing those videos, and I haven't got 161,000 subscribers. I'm not Peter Windsor, the Formula F1 journalist that everybody thinks knows everything about the sport. So when people hear it from me, there's the Max fans go, this guy's just a conspiracy theorist. He doesn't know what he's talking about. They don't believe me, but for you, you've got kudos. They believe you, but you're not saying it. It's not good enough.
Safety car, and that's what should have happened. And because they didn't do that, that's why we have all this stuff now, people feeling robbed or not robbed, or it was safe or it wasn't safe. Not obviously, but my perspective is safety is the most important thing. I'm probably been around a little bit longer than most people. I went to 15 funerals by the time I was 30.
So here we go. Was it robbed? Was it not robbed? Some people are feeling this, some people are feeling that. Let's sit on the fence. Let's keep everybody happy. Let's not offend anybody. Okay, this is the approach we're seeing all the time. Okay, then My opinion is safety is important, okay? How about you tell everybody, hey, we're not doing this any other way. This is a sport. We don't want to see people die, right? Motor racing is dangerous. Over the years, we have seen drivers die. We don't want to see any more of that. You Max fans, right? It's not a computer game. You can't go flying off the track at 200 mile an hour and then just press reset and everything's okay again. It doesn't work like that. And when you're involved in a car crash, you can't predict the outcome. Anything can happen. Look at what happened to Roman Grosjean. It looked like a fairly innocuous car going off the track. It ended up going through a barrier, splitting in half and turning into a fireball. Okay, he was lucky to get out alive from that. You can't predict the outcome of a crash. So you have to treat the event with strict safety measures, and you have to adhere to them safety measures as well. You have to clamp down on driving style. Okay, nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the true danger of driving and the way that some drivers put in moves the way they do. Okay, nobody wants to vilify Max over his dive bombs. They all go, oh yeah, we call that dive bombing, right? As if it's a thing. It is in no way acceptable, and yet people tentatively just go, oh yeah, it's just this is where the late breaks into a corner and we call it dive bombing. It's wrong. You're not leaving room on the track for other drivers. You're actually just cutting them out of track room, and if they don't move out the way, if they don't yield, you cause a crash. That's not acceptable. Who's calling that out? Nobody. But that's the actual rules of the sport. Any driver knows that, but nobody's saying it because nobody wants to lose subscribers, because nobody wants to lose that little bit of income they're getting. Okay? It's because you're all lame, proper lame. You care about money rather than integrity. Now, he's now going, oh, my opinions about safety. I've seen 15 funerals. Talk about the actual legalities of it as well. The fact that the sport is mandated to comply with the health and safety regulations that are in place. Think back to Japan last year, where in the rain there was that crane on track removing Sainz's car, I believe, and Pierre Gasly goes herring round the track having pitted and is like, trying to recatch the back of the safety car train, and he goes flying past that crane on track unsighted effectively because of all the spray, and he risked being in a situation like the Jules Bianchi situation, where tragically that situation led to a loss of life. Now, the facts of the matter are, had Gasly have crashed into that crane that was on track, the race director would have been criminally responsible for his death. That's a fact. I wrote an article about that on my Facebook page. Now, F1, they'll claim, oh, it's nothing to do with what I write. Well, clearly not. But you know what? After that race director didn't have a job for the rest of the season. They decided, oh, we're just going to use the other one for the rest of the season to keep it more consistent. That's what they told you all. The reality is that was gross negligence by that race director, and they had to move him out of the scene. But they weren't going to admit the real reason. That's the legalities of it. Nobody's calling it out. Nobody is expressing what the truth of the matter is. They're just tentatively going, oh, well, it's a little bit this, it's a little bit that. Oh, I think this, I think that. My opinion, but you can have a different opinion. No. Your opinions, if they're wrong, they're wrong. So this notion of, oh, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but if your opinion's wrong, it's worthless. So shut up and learn what's right. Okay? And that applies to you strap-on fans. Not the people that are probably listening to this that are the main subscribers on my channel, because actually you're the guys that are happy to sit through 30-40 minutes of me talking, and you're as knowledgeable, if not more so, than what I am. But the trouble is, you that are listening to this now, you'll know what I'm saying to be true, but the people that need to be educated will only sit through a 3-minute video or a 5-minute video, and unless it makes them laugh or unless they're excited by something, that's as far as it goes. So it's actually down to the responsibility of YouTubers to educate them, and educate them in a manner which is going to engage them. But this is part of the problem. Part of the problem is the misinformation. It's the misinformation from Sky Sports, and then it's the misinformation from YouTubers, from which fans of the sport get their education from. And these people are not good enough to educate. They should be good enough, but they're not doing their job. And they're not doing their job because they want an income and they want to protect their income. And that's this sport the whole way over it. Everything is money orientated, and so nobody is calling out the corruption in the way they should, because it affects their own income, so they say nothing. And you, every single one of you that's listening to this, can think of a YouTuber that has done exactly that. Okay? They'll call things out so far, and then they'll back off because they'll think, oh, I might offend somebody, so or I might offend Formula One and lose my little accreditation with them. They'll no longer reach out to me and offer me interviews with people, or passes to Grand Prix or things. So I'll protect myself a little bit here and just only tentatively hint at things rather than call it out for exactly what it is.
And most of them were young kids my age who died in Formula One cars. And so anything that enhances safety, I'm always 100% behind it. And I think it would have been dangerous to have restarted at Monza while they're still putting Daniel's car to rest behind the guardrail. I don't see there's any discussion about that, to be honest. And I think it did absolutely correctly.
Okay, so no discussion about it. Tell them about the fact that it's mandatory. Tell them that it's not a case of should they have restarted the race or should they not. My opinion is, well, there's not really a discussion there, really, is there? Tell them the fact that you cannot do it. It is not allowed. The legalities of the situation, the liabilities of who it falls upon if something was to happen. Hence, you cannot do it. You're not volunteering an opinion here. You're making statement of fact. Do it. Do it.
Point is that they were totally incorrect at Abu Dhabi, and they should have finished that race behind a safety car. And for all the people out there who say, oh, Formula One races should always finish as a sprint regardless,
So number one, explain why. Explain why. Explain why all lapped cars had to be released. Explain why that mandatory safety car lap had to be completed. Don't just put it across as your opinion, okay? Don't put it across as your opinion. Explain the facts to your 161,000 subscribers, right? And to this guy's 12.3 thousand subscribers. Explain the fact you've got that audience. This video has been seen by 17,000. Like I say, I can only inform 600 people. People don't want to see me. People don't want to watch what I've got to say. And when they do, they don't believe it because nobody else is saying it. Take responsibility. You're in a fortunate position of having a platform that enables you to inform that many people. Take responsibility for that and inform them and educate them in the right way, because this isn't good enough. And you're far from being the only ones. Like I say, there are, and I'm actually going to do something similar now, because this has actually revved me up to call out some of the other YouTubers that are not informing people correctly, and yet they're happy to take an income from the sport for just being, these flaccid arty-farty, oh, is it this, is it that? Oh, you let me know what you think in the comment section. Bollocks to what some of these strap-on fans want to think in the comment section. They clearly know nothing, but partly why they know nothing is because they've been lied to by Brundle, making them think that they know something, and really, they don't. And this is all part of the problem of why it is we are still at this stage in trying to call out the corruption of Abu Dhabi. So this is something that we need to tackle.
I would reiterate what I've said several times on my YouTube channel and on Twitch, which is that I think any TV director stroke commentator who couldn't have brought...
Okay, I just want to go back to the fact that he just said something like, everybody wants to see every Grand Prix end as a sprint. Okay? How about you educate people as to what a Grand Prix is? A Grand Prix is effectively an endurance event that takes somewhere close to 2 hours and about 315 kilometers, something in that distance. Okay? It's not something that's a 100-meter sprint. So if you're running a marathon, you're running 26 miles. You don't have people run for 2 hours and then just stop everybody, wait for everyone to catch up, we've run for 2 hours, wait for everyone to catch up, right? And now it's just a 100-meter sprint to the finish line. Let's see who wins that marathon, shall we? You know, let's dress Usain Bolt up in a fucking light bulb outfit and let him jog round for 4 hours, wait till he catches the leader, right? Because they're all there waiting with 100 metres to go, right? And let's see who wins the sprint. Let's see who wins that last 100 metres. And then we can make Usain Bolt the world champion of marathons. Shall we do that, shall we? Explain to people what it is they're actually watching, okay? Tell these dickheads that want to see a sprint finish, a grandstand finish, a last lap shootout. Explain to them the true nature of what this sport is about. Because all you're doing is pandering to the drama, pandering to these kids that want excitement because they've seen Drive to Survive a few times and play the odd F1 game on their PC, right, or on their PlayStation, and they think they know what Formula One's all about when they've got no clue whatsoever. So educate them, rather than just coin it in from having them as subscribers on your channel. Educate.
Tears to everybody's eyes as Lewis Hamilton was driving that last lap at Abu Dhabi behind the safety car, waving to the crowd, fireworks going off under the night sky, having just broken Michael Schumacher's record. Anybody that couldn't have made that moment work for posterity and in the history of Formula One shouldn't be in the job in the first place. So
yeah, correct. They shouldn't, you know. And how about you actually say what actually happened was the fact that in the last 10 laps, in the last 12 laps of that race, it was not mentioned once that Lewis Hamilton was in the process of making history, was in the process of becoming a record-breaking 8-time world champion, breaking all the records in history. And Sky Sports commentating never mentioned that once. All the focus was on what Max was going to do, what 12 seconds behind Max was going to do, and what a miracle was needed, and the racing gods were going to do. Do you not find that strange? Too much of a coincidence for me.
I think not only do I think it was wrong to finish as a race at Abu Dhabi, I think Formula
One... Why do you not think that? Why are you not going to spell it out as to why it was wrong?
One missed a massive opportunity to create one of the most emotionally charged moments.
It's not a massive opportunity. It's had that have played out authentically, it would have been that. There were millions of fans that watched that race purposefully because that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see that. It's not, oh, they missed the opportunity for that to happen. No, we were all robbed of that through corruption, through race fixing, through result manipulation, because There was a narrative. That narrative would have been set by the people that own the sport because they financially benefited from that. Okay, they have control over everything. They have control over the media company which actually construct the footage. They have control over the contracted media that lied about the rules of the sport when commentating to set up the notion to make everybody think and accept that it was possible to see a racing finish to that event. They have control over the FIA, who broke the rules to facilitate that. They've got links with Red Bull, who are the beneficiaries of that. They've kept the other teams quiet so that they actually all quietened down after the race rather than call out exactly how wrong it was, because they all made a bit of money out of it. Okay? It's not an opportunity for that to happen. It happened, and we were robbed from that, from the systematic nature of what took place. Why aren't you saying it? Why are you not making it that clear to people exactly what went on? Instead, we get these lame-ass little, oh, well, it should have been this, or I think it should have been that. Use the evidence. The evidence is there. And if you can't see the evidence yourself, when somebody contacts you and says, I've got the evidence, you know what? How about listen to them? But, oh, no, you don't want to do that, do you? You don't want to do that because you might lose subscribers. Oh, you might offend somebody. You might lose your little pass to the Formula One paddock so you don't get invited to the British Grand Prix for calling out the sport for being corrupt. This is the difference between some YouTubers and others.
In the history of its sport.
So that's the end of that one. Look, went on for longer than anticipated, but most of mine do. Like I say, FF1, check some of his stuff out, please. And you're going to be hearing more from the both of us about this matter ongoing. That's enough for this one. I'm going to see what else I can make. Cheers.